The ballroom became so quiet that the sound of a glass being set down echoed across the room. Ethan looked just as surprised as everyone else. "I think there must be some mistake." Rebecca Grant smiled. "There isn't." She handed him the folder. Inside was an official appointment letter. His father frowned. "CEO of what?" Rebecca turned toward the guests. "Mr. Brooks has been unanimously selected as the next Chief Executive Officer of Bright Path Community Health Network." Several guests gasped. It was one of the largest non-profit healthcare networks in the region. Nathan looked stunned. "But Ethan never finished college." Rebecca nodded. "That's true." She smiled. "But leadership isn't measured only by diplomas." The room fell silent again. She continued. "For the past 7 years, Mr. Brooks has managed community outreach programs, built partnerships with local hospitals, expanded volunteer services, and led initiatives that have helped thousands of families." His mother blinked. "What?" Rebecca looked surprised. "You didn't know?" No one answered. Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. "I never really talked about work." He hadn't hidden it. His family had simply never asked. While they assumed he was just getting by, Ethan had quietly worked his way from a volunteer coordinator to regional director. He accepted evening certifications, attended leadership programs after putting Lily to bed, and earned the respect of every team he led. Rebecca smiled. When our former CEO announced his retirement, the board interviewed candidates from across the country. She looked at Ethan. "You are the unanimous choice." Nathan stared at his brother. "You beat candidates with MBAs?" Rebecca nodded. "And decades of executive experience." She closed the folder. The board believed Mr. Brooks possessed something much harder to teach. "What?" someone asked. "Character." The word settled over the room. His father looked down. For years he had praised credentials above everything else. Now an accomplished executive was standing in front of him explaining that the quality he had overlooked mattered most. Lily tugged gently on Ethan's sleeve. "Daddy." "Yes." "Does CEO mean you help lots of people?" Ethan smiled. "I hope so." She grinned. "I knew you could." Several guests quietly wiped away tears. Rebecca laughed softly. "I think you've already met your biggest supporter." Lily nodded proudly. "He's my hero." The room grew emotional. Nathan slowly walked over to his brother. "I owe you an apology." Ethan looked at him. Nathan sighed. "I let them compare us." He paused. "And I never stopped it." Ethan nodded. "Thank you for saying that." Their father stood motionless before finally speaking. "Why didn't you tell us?" Ethan answered honestly. "I tried." He looked around the room. But every conversation became about what I hadn't finished. Silence. No one ever asked what I had started. His mother covered her mouth. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She suddenly remembered all the dinners where she'd asked about degrees, promotions, then titles, but never once asked her oldest son how he and Lily were doing. Rebecca glanced at her watch. "Mr. Brooks, the board members are waiting downstairs." Ethan smiled apologetically. "I'll be there in a minute." She nodded and stepped outside. His father slowly walked toward the display board. He looked at Nathan's photo. Then at the empty spot where Lily had removed the label that read "The Dropout." Quietly, he peeled the entire sign from the board. He folded it once. Then threw it into the trash. Turning back to Ethan, he said in a trembling voice, "I spent 7 years calling you by your greatest sacrifice, instead of your greatest strength." No one spoke. Ethan looked at Lily. She reached into her little purse, pulled out a gold star sticker from school, and placed it beneath her father's photograph. On it she carefully wrote with a marker, "My dad. Not CEO. Not executive. Not dropout. Just my dad." The guests smiled. Some applauded. Others cried. Ethan knelt and hugged her tightly. That's my favorite title. Months later, after settling into his new role, Ethan established a scholarship fund for single parents returning to school. He named it after his late wife, believing that no one should have to choose between caring for family and pursuing education. At the dedication ceremony, his parents sat quietly in the front row. Not as honored guests. Simply as proud parents learning, at last, what success truly looked like. Because degrees can open doors. Careers can earn applause. But the measure of a person's life is often found in the people they lift up along the way. And on that day, everyone in the room understood that Ethan Brooks had never really been a dropout. He had simply chosen love over a timetable, and that choice had made him the richest man there in ways no diploma ever could.